Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into a story that unfolds not with shouting matches or slammed doors, but with the kind of silence that can crush your chest. Imagine waking up beside someone every morning, brewing 2 cups of coffee, one with 2 sugars, one black, and believing, truly believing, that this is your forever. That was me. I lived inside a rhythm, predictable and safe. Or at least, I thought so. You brush your teeth side by side. You fold laundry, cook dinner, argue about which Netflix show to binge. Nothing feels broken. In fact, it feels so normal, you'd swear nothing could ever fall apart. Historians often romanticize domestic stability, how families built strong units in the post-war 1950s. But let's be real, even those so-called perfect households were loaded with secrets. And mine? It was just slower at revealing its cracks. You probably won't survive this kind of quiet betrayal without losing a few pieces of yourself. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And tell me where you're watching from and what time it is right now. I love knowing who's listening in the still hours of the night. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You begin with routines, because routines feel safe. You tie your shoes the same way. You fold her favorite blanket. She leaves notes in your lunch bag that say "love you," and for a while, you believe every single word. But somewhere deep in that stillness, the truth is already blooming in the shadows. It starts with the little things, doesn't? You're both sitting on the couch, and suddenly her phone buzzes. She tilts the screen just slightly away. You notice, but you don't say anything. Maybe you're overthinking. Maybe she's planning a surprise. You laugh at your own paranoia and go back to watching whatever show she insisted on. You tell yourself relationships need trust. After all, the medieval concept of courtly love demanded absolute devotion without expectation. But back then, people were writing love poems in castles, not hiding conversations in encrypted massagee. Then, she starts getting home later. Not drastically, just 15 minutes here, 20 there. Sometimes she says traffic, other times it's an extra meeting popped up, and every time you nod, you trust. You give her space. That's what good hewn. But the S. Her hugs start to feel like formalities. Her laughter no longer reaches her eyes. She stops complaining about your bad habits, almost like she doesn't care enough to be annoyed anymore. Historians still argue whether emotional withdrawal is a symptom or a cause of betrayal, but for you, it feels like. And still, you say nothing. You start offering to make her tea at night, hoping the warmth of the cup will bring back the warmth in her gaze. But she scrolls on her phone instead. You want to ask who she's texting. You want to scream. But instead, you say "long day?" and she nods without looking at you. One night, you lie in bed awake, her back turned, and you whisper, "Are we okay?" She doesn't answer. She's asleep, or pretending to be. You don't sleep either. Because something in your gut, already, why? You're not the jealous type. Never have been. You've always believed that if you have to go through someone's phone, the relationship's already dead. But silence wears you down like water over stone, and when the pieces start to not fit, when she smiles at texts she doesn't explain, when she forgets dates she used to trade. It's a Tuesday. She's in the shower. Her phone is on the counter, unlocked, because she trusts why. Or maybe she doesn't care if you know anymore. Your hand trembles. You stare at the glowing screen like it's a live grenade. And then you swipe. Messages. Hundreds of them. Some coded, some blatant. Photos you wish you could unsee. Phrases like "can't wait to see you again" and "he's clueless." That last one burns deepest. He's clueless. That's yo feto. Your breath catches. You drop the phone like it's cursed. You sit on the edge of the bed, heart pounding so loud you almost miss the sound of the water. Historians often reference the infamous Borgia family. Poison, betrayal, lies in the royal courts of Italy. But somehow, this feels worse. At least those betrayals were for power. Yours was just for pleasure. For thrill. For something she never bothered to explain. She walks out of the bathroom, towel in her hair, smiling slightly. "What's wrong?" she asks when she sees your face. You shake your head. Nothing. You lie, voice barely a whisper. And that's the first time you realize. This story won't end in confrontation. No slamming doors, no shouting, just silence. And a slow, calculated retreat. Historians still debate whether heartbreak or humiliation hits harder. In that moment, you feel both in equal measure. That night, you barely move. You lie next to her the same way you have for over 3 years. But now, everything is different. Her breathing is steady, untroubled. Yours is not. You stare at the ceiling, wondering how many nights she's done this, cuddled into your chest after seeing him, whispered, "I love you," into your ear with someone else's name still echoing in her mind. You think about waking her, about asking her, straight up. But what would be the point? To catch her in a lie? To hear her twisted into a story where you're the one who failed? No, you stay quiet. Let her sleep. She seems so peaceful, and that, somehow, is the cruelest part. Historians still argue about how Julius Caesar felt the moment he saw Brutus among his assassins. Was it shock? Rage? A strange, detached heartbreak? You understand now why betrayal from someone you trust isn't loud. It's hollow. It's a vacuum in your chest that sucks everything out at once. In the morning, she hums while brushing her teeth. She makes toast. She even asks if you want some. You nod. Sure. You don't look up. She's texting again, smiling faintly. You chew your toast like it's sand. And right then, something shifts in you. You don't feel the need to confront her. You don't feel anger yet either. What you feel is clarity, a cold, quiet decision forming at the back of your mind. You're not going to scream. You're not going to beg. You're not even going to ask why. You're going to disappear. Not today, not yet, but soon. You will leave so quietly, she won't even know she's lost you, until the echo of your absence makes her realize you're never coming back. You start preparing your exit like a man planning a quiet revolution. There's a certain art to disappearing. You can't just walk out the door. That's what she'd expect if she ever found out. No, this has to be a vanishing act. Slow, precise. The way a shadow slips away when the sun shifts. You begin with the small things. Backing up your personal files. Transferring funds to a private account. Returning borrowed tools to neighbors. Canceling subscriptions in your name. She doesn't notice. She's too wrapped up in her new little world to see the pieces of yours being gently packed away. Odd detail, but you remember reading that ancient Japanese ninjas often disguised their exits with distractions, fake trails, hidden smoke, and even staged conversations left mid-sentence. You're not a ninja, of course, but you appreciate the craft. There's something powerful about controlling your departure, about knowing they won't see it coming. You avoid eye contact. You go to bed earlier. You become just quiet enough for her to assume you're distracted, not distant. Historians still debate whether Napoleon's escape from Elba was brilliance or blind luck. But what matters is he did it with flair. You're planning to do the opposite, with silence. One night, while she's out at a friend's, you walk through the apartment with a new lens. Not as your home anymore, but as a place you're ready to let go of. You touch the doorknob that always sticks. The cabinet you fixed 3 times. The coffee mug she gave you on your first anniversary, now chipped. You're not sad, not anymore, just done. And when she comes back and kisses your cheek like nothing's wrong, you return the gesture. Because soon, that kiss will be a ghost. You set the date. It's not marked on any calendar. It lives only in your mind. A silent countdown. A Thursday, 2 weeks from now. She'll be on a work trip. At least, that's what she told you. Maybe she's seeing him. It doesn't really matter anymore. What matters is, that's the day you'll go. You buy a cheap second phone. A burner, like in the movies. It's funny how little it takes to disappear. Just some cash, an old backpack, and the will to never look back. You rent a storage unit in another town and start taking small items there. Just a few things that mean something to you. Childhood photos, a favorite jacket, your father's watch. Everything else, You've already let it go in your heart. Historians still argue whether the lost city of Roanoke was wiped out or simply walked away, blending into a new world. You like to think they chose peace. You're choosing that too. She doesn't notice your shift. Or maybe she does, but she chalks it up to stress. Work stuff. Life stuff. You give her just enough of the old you to keep her guessing. You still do the dishes, still take out the trash, still smile when she walks into the room. But behind your eyes, you're already gone. One night, she leaves her phone unlocked on the counter. You don't touch it. You don't need more proof. The betrayal already lives in the space between you, thick as smoke. Instead, you pour yourself some tea, sit by the window, and wonder if she'll cry when she finds you gone, or if she'll just text him to celebrate. Either way, you won't be around to see it. And that, somehow, makes it easier to breathe. The day arrives like any other. Birds chirp. The morning coffee drips. She's already gone, suitcase wheeling behind her like she's off to a business meeting, not a betrayal. She kisses your cheek like she always does. Habit, maybe. Or guilt. Either way, it lands without weight. The moment the door clicks shut, the silence wraps around you like a warm coat. You move quickly, but not in a panic. You've rehearsed this. You take the duffel bag from under the bed, the documents from the drawer behind the bookshelf. You delete your saved logins, clear your devices, wipe your personal files. You pack the essentials into the car you registered last month under a new address, just in case. As you take one last walk through the apartment, you pause in the doorway. It's strange. This place held so many laughs, so many dinners, so many lazy Sundays tangled in blankets. And now it's just empty. You leave your wedding ring on the kitchen table, next to it a note. Not angry, not long, just a quiet truth. I know, I always did. You won't hear from me again. Historians still argue whether Caesar crossing the Rubicon was a tactical genius move or a moment of reckless pride. But he never turned back. Just like you won't. You lock the door, not for her, but for the man you used to be. The one who begged for her time. The one who overlooked late-night texts and sudden mood swings. He's not coming with you. Odd detail. The moment you get in the car, the radio plays a song you both loved once. You let it play, then shut it off halfway through. There's no space for old soundtracks on this new road. The first night alone is eerily quiet. No clicking heels at the door. No toothbrush beside yours. No voice saying, "Don't forget to turn off the lights." Just you, a one-room studio in a city where no one knows your name, and the constant hum of starting over. You lie on a mattress on the floor, no bed frame yet. The air smells like cardboard and fresh paint. It's not comfortable, but it's clean. And in that silence, there's a strange kind of peace. You cook for one now. Rice and eggs, mostly. Cheap, easy. No one complains about too much garlic. No one leaves half their food untouched. You start running again in the mornings. Not because it fixes the pain, but because every drop of sweat says, "I'm still here." Odd fact. The ancient Stoics believed suffering could be controlled by changing your perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that you have power over your mind, not outside events. You read that in a library book you picked up near your new apartment. You read it twice. You start therapy, not because you're broken, but because healing shouldn't be a solo project. You don't mention her name, not yet. Just say you're here to understand why people stay when they know they shouldn't. The therapist nods. That's a good place to begin. Historians still argue whether Vincent van Gogh's mental struggles shaped his genius, or simply consumed him. You don't want genius. You just want to wake up without that heavy thing in your chest. At night, you check your phone less and less. The ghost of her messages fades. You even smile, once, at a dumb meme a stranger posted. You don't forward it to anyone. Just laugh softly to yourself. No one sees. And that's okay. Weeks pass, and the edges of the pain start to blur. You're no longer counting every second she's away or obsessing over what you missed. The phone's silent. The apartment quieter. You find yourself filling the void with small acts. Watering a plant, fixing the leaky faucet, learning how to make coffee without burning it. You realize you're reclaiming your life piece by piece. Oddly enough, you stumble onto a support group online, a place for people quietly rebuilding after heartbreak. There's a strange comfort in reading stories you thought only you lived. People who left, stayed, or stood still. Their words are raw, but hopeful. Like you, historians still argue whether the fall of the Roman Empire was sudden or slow erosion. Your own collapse felt sudden, but the rebuilding? That's the slow work. Day after day, tiny bricks stacking up. One night, you catch yourself humming a tune you haven't heard in years. It's not hers, it's yours. A song from a time before you even met her, when your dreams were different, lighter. You remember who you were. And here's a fringe detail you never expected. Studies suggest that emotional pain activates the same brain areas as physical pain. So when your heart hurt, your body hurt too. It's science telling you that feeling like this is real, valid, but also that healing is possible. You take a deep breath, sit by the window watching the city lights flicker like distant stars. The world is vast, bigger than one broken marriage, bigger than one betrayal. And maybe, just maybe, so are you. Months have gone by now, and you stand at a new crossroads. You're not the person you were the day you walked away, nor are you the person you feared becoming. You've learned that silence isn't weakness. It's the space where healing grows. You know now that quiet departures aren't about running away. They're about choosing peace over chaos. You begin to rebuild your relationships, friends you neglected, family you pushed away in the fog of heartbreak. You start saying yes to invitations, to laughter, to new experiences. The world feels both scary and inviting, like a book with blank pages just waiting for your story. Here's a historical twist. In ancient Japan, there was a practice called kintsugi, where broken pottery was repaired with gold, highlighting its cracks rather than hiding them. It's a beautiful reminder that scars can become art, and pain can become strength. You often think about that. Your broken heart isn't a failure. It's a map of where you've been and a guide to where you're going. Historians still argue whether people are inherently resilient or if resilience is learned. You've come to believe it's a messy mix of both, a survival skill honed in the face of real pain. As you look in the mirror, you don't just see a survivor. You see someone ready for what's next. You whisper to yourself, I gave up what wasn't mine to keep, and I'm ready to hold on to what's real. And in the quiet moments, when doubt creeps in, you remember this. Sometimes the most courageous thing is to quietly leave and fiercely live. Now, slow the pace, soften the vocabulary, fade the imagery, and close on a calming final whisper. It's okay to take your time. Healing isn't a race. It's a gentle unfolding. You're not alone in this quiet journey. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a triumph. Breathe in peace. Breathe out the past. Let the night wrap around you like a soft blanket. Tomorrow is waiting with open arms, ready to welcome the new story you're writing. Sleep well, and remember, you are enough.